Eggs. You ever wonder what eggs do on Saturday night? That's right, they watch Rocket League games. These eggs are the audience members in Rocket League and cheer you on when you make goals or saves. These guys are seen throughout multiple stadiums, and as I played throughout these different stadiums, I kept having this little nagging thought pop up. Are these seats any good? I mean, there are many stadiums in Rocket League, with some of them not being that great, and this question just, it kept me up. So I made it my job to find the best and worst audience seats in Rocket League, and yes, we're using a tier list. Our tiers will be perfect, good, okay, whatever, bad, and refund, which that tier means you'd most likely get a refund for such awful seats. Now, I won't be doing every map because there are a lot of maps that don't have an audience or even a place for an audience. With all that being said, let's begin our quest to find the best and worst seats in Rocket League. Our first stadium is Rivals Arena, and I'll be using this stadium to bring up some key points we'll see throughout our investigation. This stadium is your typical crowd seating you'd see at a large soccer or football game. You'll notice the crowd is at a distance from the field, which is something we'll see a lot moving forward. Something we need to consider in these ratings is this part of the field. This plating and coloring of the edges of the field is almost constant with our stadiums and can really obstruct the view of the audience. This stadium is at a distance from the field, and sightlines on the goals seem to be obstructed from these fires that don't seem to be giving out anytime soon. Although some seats have the height needed to make views of the field perfect, a lot of these seats are too low and have obstructions. We want everyone to have a great seat, so we will average out the stadiums here to an okay. Dunk House is the smallest arena in Rocket League, which means the stadium can be as close as possible. The arena's bottom portion is glass instead of the painted glass we saw in Rivals Arena. The only obstructions in this arena are the giant backboards and nets, which can make sitting here not the best experience, which means Dunk House gets a good seating. The block is a street field, so it just has a couple stands instead of the large stadium seats we've seen so far. Although there's not nearly as many seats as a stadium, that lack of seating gives room to the available seating. These stands are both high and close enough to give a perfect view of the field. And the edges are painted here, but again, the stands locations are definitely good enough for this to be not a problem. The block is our first perfect tier. The theme of this map is massive skyscrapers, so to stay on theme, the crowd is suspended high in the sky. Besides being absolutely terrifying, the height does give the seats great views, but of course the bottom row kinda gets the short end of the stick here due to the edges. I'm not accounting for this fog because that's just an unfortunate timing thing with our weather, but I'm rating this stadium good. This map's theme is an ice rink, so all the seating is close together and close to the arena. The high seats are fantastic, but we have some problems with the bottom rows. We do have these pillars, which definitely obstructs the view for everyone no matter their seating. The same thing can be said for these flags, which I really do have to question the point of these being here. These trims aren't transparent as well, but I will say this arena does have good lighting, but with way too many obstructions. I have to put this one in just an okay stadium. This stadium is a coliseum, so there's a lot of pillars and arcs. Now the seating is elevated here to help with sightlines due to the decorations and arcs, but I would argue that this height doesn't do too much to help with that. This arena is built into the ground, which can make that height work well, but with these arches, the corners and really goalpost areas as well can be difficult to see. Obviously the snow isn't helping, but with these things considered, the Coliseum gets an okay tier. This stadium is actually pretty good. It has good height, but I think it needs to be just a little closer. The opacity is better on the edges, but as you can see, there's still some obstruction. Other than that, I think this is a pretty good stadium, not much more to complain about, so I think we'll put in the good one. So, Starbase Arc. This map is absolutely cool, but has one glaring issue that rises above the rest of its issues. No, it's not these pipes, not these towers, and not that guy, not the edges. No, the one glaring issue is there is no atmosphere. This isn't like a Halo ring with an actual ecosystem. No, they're just eggs. They don't need to breathe or worry about the effects of the vacuum of space. Unlike me, a human. I'm sure I don't need to tell you what would happen if I tried to go out there, but you know, eggs don't have to worry about that. But besides that, it's okay. You know, not really much going on. It's going in bad tier. I think I'm being very generous here. It's bad. Aquadome is my second favorite map, and the lights here just don't do it enough justice. When you're playing an actual game on this map online, the lighting is phenomenal. Since we're underwater, the arena and stadium had to be in bulky glass domes. Now besides this bulky piece right here, these seats aren't that bad. You have a good overview over the arena and are good enough distance to allow the wildlife to roam free. I really want to give Aquadome a perfect, but I can't ignore these eggs behind this middle piece right here. That's really bothering me. So unfortunately, Aquadome is sitting at a good on our tier list. Salty Shores gets a refund tier because the audience came on their boats, but there is no available seating. Just terrible. Pretty map though. Pretty map. Just nowhere to sit. Just boats. Just boats. I like this map. The city around the park is really well made, but the seats are another story. It's your standard bleacher setup, except these bottom few rows have nothing to see at times, like it's just completely obstructed. So if we have a full house for a game, the only option is to come stand over here and watch. Now these are the kind of seats you don't really pay tickets for, but we're going under the assumption we paid a full price ticket for this, which probably isn't that expensive. I'm gonna have to give this one a refund tier because some of the people literally cannot see what's happening. I'm actually surprised no one has showed up yet though, but you know, maybe they're just late. It's been an hour now. It's raining now. Maybe the time was wrong on the flyer or something. Actually, it is raining, so maybe that held people up. Yeah, I'm sure that's what it is. It's been 4 hours. No one is here, so I'm just practicing now. Practice makes perfect. Boostfield Mall is my absolute favorite map in Rocket League. This arena is at the center of a shopping mall, which means the audience can be anywhere they want, whether it's on the ground, looking through the goal, or on the second floor looking below. This map gets the perfect tier. It's such a cool idea and works well with audience members being able to move to any view they want during the game. And best of all, it's free, because it's a mall. This stadium is very interesting with its seating. On the lowest level, the seating is at a level where these edges destroy the view and make it impossible to see the action when it's closest. The second level has the same problem, but not as bad. And the third level theoretically has the best view on the arena, but the height and distance from the arena can make it difficult to make out what's going on. We do have some eggs as well that obviously ditch their seats to get a better view. It kind of seems you don't have a great view no matter where you sit in this arena, so I'm putting this stadium in the bad tier. Who put a soccer field in the desert? This stadium has some bleacher seating, but it has great height and is close to the arena. Now we do have some people on the ground level here, but again, we're going off the paid ticket rule. The only issue in this stadium is our classic issue of not being able to see what's happening at the edges of the arena. Overall, this stadium is pretty good and very pretty, so we're putting it on the good tier. Farmstead is a really unique map because the eggs here have on farmer hats and we see some animals. Wait, what animal is that? Oh, it's so cute. Hold on one second, guys. Alright, I'm back. I just had to grab something real quick. But this map has some unique seating because the seating connects to a platform by the arena. The seating itself is at a good height, but a little far. But it seems that there is a lot more room for everyone here to come get a close-up of the action. Now normally I would disqualify points for leaving your seat for this, but considering the view is great when you're seated, and you can get as close as physically possible to the arena, this stadium is getting a perfect tier. This stadium has a good height, but as you can see, we have a lot of obstructions here, such as these statues. The worst of this stadium is if you're sat directly behind this goal where I don't think you can really see anything. These higher seats have it pretty good, but if you get the seat behind the goal, I can't say it would be surprising to see people walking out. Unfortunately, this stadium is getting the refund tier. At first glance, this stadium seems decent. Good height and really close seating to make it a contender for the perfect category. But if you start to drive around and look at the different angles, you start to see similarities from the Forbidden Temple Stadium. If you're sat near the goal, your view begins to fade pretty fast. I'm putting this one in the bad tier because you technically get to see some of the action. I'm not sure what the idea behind the seating was here, but it's far away and it has this front side paneling right here that messes with your view, especially at the distance. These structures here also can blind the view from certain sightlines for audience members up here, so this stadium is just okay tier. If you ever played Rocket League, I don't think it's too shocking here that Neon Fields is a really cool map. There's no seats here because we're actually at a concert, and technically I'd give this map the refund tier, but to be honest, I think everyone here is more so here for the concert. You can look into the arena through these peepholes, but they don't give you too much to work with. It honestly feels like the arena is there for the players to enjoy the concert as well, more than anything. So I'm putting this one in the secret concert tier. We have a decent sized stadium for our beachgoers in this map, and the eggs are dressed for it. These flags here are close to the seating, which can obstruct the view for some people. We also have the return of goal seating issues. They're at a good distance, but the height here seems to give a disadvantage. I think this stadium would fit real well into the OK tier. There's actually not too much to complain with on this map. I mean, the stadium height and distance is perfect. These umbrellas are pushing it for sure for obstruction purposes, but the only other obstruction is our cursed goal problem. This map is also just pretty fun. I like this mini concert going on. Salty Fest gets the good tier. This map has an interesting setup compared to our other maps here, and that's primarily because of the edges. We have bleacher seating here, and the edges actually have a light opacity to them. The bottom row can just barely see over the edge, and if they can't see the action when it's close, they'd be able to see through the edges even if it's not the most ideal. This might be controversial, but I am going to pass this stadium for a perfect tier, but let me know if you think this one should just be a good. Refund. I'm not saying anything else. Actually, no, I'm going to say one more thing. Refund. Our final map of the video is a newly released Paris map. The stadium here is perfect with a really nice height and good distance to the arena. The goals here have a light opacity to them, and even though I would still get them for the goal seating, out of the spirit of, well, it's a new year and it is the final map, so perfect tier. Now that we've finished rating all our maps, let's look over the tier list. It looks like we can only recommend 11 of these stadiums when it comes to good seats. 5 stadiums have seating that is really only for when you really want to see a game of Rocket League. And unfortunately, some of these stadiums need to be avoided at all costs. That makes less than 50% of Rocket League stadiums having actual good seating, which is kinda heartbreaking. Perhaps we need to make a petition for better stadiums, or you know what, better yet, make the seating in the sky above the stadium? I don't know, a map of a stadium that's high in the sky sounds pretty good. I hope this investigation into Rocket League seating has made it easier to understand the absolute commitment these eggs have to the league. And that's all I have for now, and maybe by the end of this year, we will have some more perfect tier stadiums. Thank you all so much for 35 subscribers. I'm starting to think I need to make a 50 subscriber special here. I'm SodaCatHi, and thank you for watching. Have a good day.